Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. In my previous video, I was talking about the new law and new legislation in Italy regarding the rental agreements in Italy and the ease with which the Italian government wants to fight against the legal occupation of real estate building, no matter what, if commercial or habitable. I receive a lot of comments that I gonna gather in two groups of comments of people completely panicking that they might be evicted from their real estate tomorrow. That's true. And some less interest, but real interest of people, for example, from US that are really interested in investing in Italy because they will struggling in the thinking for many years to try to invest in Italy because they were scared of the possibility that the tenant will not pay the rent, so the landlord will not be able to evict him or her. Well, these two groups panic completely in a different way, and today you're gonna discover if my previous video was a fake thing or was a real law. Well, let's discover immediately the truth. I'm never making fake video, I'm never making clickbait videos, so everything I talk about is from my passion to law, because I want to give to you some free content to understand legal aspects of Italy in order to evaluate how to relocate here, how to invest here, and all the legal aspects that might be not very clear for you. So one more time, the law was real. It is approved in June. It's the law number 80 of June 2025. This law is called Decreto Sicurezza, so it's like sort of security decree or law, call it as you want, that was introduced in the past month by the new government in Italy that is definitely changing his route from democratic, more oriented to more Republican. This gives more attention, of course, to the capitalistic part and to the business part of the country, which we might understand it was needed since many years, because we had struggling a lot with the rental agreements and with 1 year or 2 years long process to evict a person that was not paying the bills and not paying the rent. That was really a mess and a trouble. Well, this law again is real. Today I'm gonna go through some of the key points of this new law. Let's start with the first. We have a new article, a new hypothesis of criminal situation, which is the article 634 of Italian Criminal Code, which introduce a new penalty that might bring to up to 7 years in prison if you legally occupy a real estate building. Well, if you consider that the penalty for killing a person with will is 21 years, and if you do it for mistake with not willing to do that, it's 7 years of prison, providing a criminal case for illegal occupation of the building with the same penalty as you might be provided to a debt to a person. Well, that's a really significant consideration of how our government would really specifically fight with this type of crime, with this type of social uncomfortable situation. So if you're thinking to occupy a legal building in Italy, well, today you have to think twice, because the penalty might be very severe. Second point in the introduction of this law is the possibility to immediately free the apartment. Before, as a lawyer, I can tell you for sure, it was really 1 to 2 years to be able from a court officer to evict a person and to free the apartment. Today, this thing will be much faster. Third point, the convalidation and the confirmation that the rental is closed and you are, for example, in retard, in delay with the payment, will be confirmed today within 30 days. That's a super quick term, so be careful, because before there was the so-called periodo di grazia, so it's also a grace period of 90 days where you can ask for medical reasons or any other reasons to just remain in the apartment. Well, that will be gradually reconsidered only with serious cases. Straightforward. Remember that they can notify you all these proceedings not anymore by a recorded letter in your post box, but that might be to your recorded letter. In Italy, we use PEC, which is Post Elettronica Certificates, is a certified email that functions the same as receiving a recorded letter in your mailbox. So if you are considering to buy one of these addresses like name, last name, @pec.it, @pec.it, which is a PEC registered address that you might be comfortable to use by talking with immigration officers or to other authorities, be careful and be really aware of this address, because a notification can no more come to your post box instead to this electronic address official, not just email, so it's a certified email. And fifth, very important point, the documentation that will be provided today in order for the tenant to remain in the apartment will be much more strictly examined and considered. So it's no more, I am sick, I'm ill, I cannot leave the apartment, no more like this. You will be necessarily obliged to provide a different type of documentation in order to prove that you really need this apartment for your personal use, and all the documentation regarding handicap, minor, disability, fragile person, etc., those that still work as a reason to not leave the apartment will be treated and considered in a much different way. This is a real change in our legislation. It's really huge. I'm really interested because I don't have, fortunately, that many clients that have problem with the rent. I have been managing and assisting more clients that too many times told me they were not interested to invest in Italy because of the problem with the person occupying legal apartment. Well, forget completely about that. We are moving to a new era of a Stato di diritto, of a state law, so you will be able to very tranquilly and comfortably buy real estate and consider not only Airbnb and short-term rental, but only be secure that you can give as a rent, you can rent this apartment for a long period of time, no matter if there are kids or any person or any other person fragile, you will be able to evict and to free the apartment in case of not payment. We are assisting both cases. As a lawyer, I have been assisting people with troubles in paying the rent. More, I was assisting people interested to buy an apartment or that might had some problem with evict a person illegally occupying a building. Well, technically speaking, illegal occupation is not just not paying of the rent, of course. So it's a little bit different, but be careful, because if you're too long not paying the rent, you might become one of these criminal cases that we talked before about illegal occupation. So the two things are really on the limit, on the borders of being one of another. Some last consideration I would like to share with you: is this going to affect even the prices of the rental agreement? Well, that's the interesting point. Maybe yes. Some saying that more people will be willing to rent their apartments, so that will create more offers. So technically, from economic perspective, the price sure is lower. Well, I was seeing, and I'm gonna comfort you and future investors, that I never saw any price going down in Italy regarding real estate. Not even price of sell purchase, not even price of rental agreement, especially if you are considering to buy in major cities. Well, that as everywhere in the world practically. But maybe in a long-term perspective of more than a year, some properties, some rent might not crazily increase and maybe stay more statistic. I don't see really a price going low. This is a general understanding of how our government is a little bit changing the route, inclining more to Republican aspects, and this can be noticed also on immigration aspects. I see some very well argumented visa that are not approved, residency permit. Some people come to me from our social network and ask help to renew the permit because it was denied. So I am feeling really, as a real operator of the law, that the things are a little bit changing. So don't want to sell too much the service, but really having a lawyer that is expert in this activity might be very crucial in the future in this field. Thank you so much for the view. Please like, comment, subscribe, put a click on the bell so you will know about my new videos. Thank you so much.